$725 billion. 725 billion. That's how much money Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, that's how much they've just committed to spending on AI infrastructure in 2026 alone. And the crazy part is half of it is already stuck. Some people may look at that as bullish, some may look at it as bearish. I know one thing, I am not going to allow the AI trade past me. And that's why in this video, we're going to highlight a number of stocks, 8 stocks to own while big tech spends $725 billion building AI. And we're not talking about, the ones that everybody talks about here on YouTube, like NVIDIA and Microsoft and Google. Obviously, I think could be great performers. Maybe not Microsoft as much as NVIDIA and Google, but we're going to get down into the nitty gritty, guys. Talk to you guys a little bit about a few assets that I've talked about before, but also some new ones that I think you're really going to like. And you've been back at this channel here once, twice, 3 times. We're going to keep things fresh. We're going to continue to give you guys a ton of things to look at. And the crazy part is, as I mentioned, half of this money's already stuck. This 725 billion, put up for this year, Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon for the AI build out. It's not because they ran out of money. It's because demand it's not because demand slowed down either. It's because it's a supply issue. They can't get the physical stuff they need to actually build these things, meaning the data centers. So we're talking copper in this video. We're talking transformers. We're talking power from the grid. It's all running out. And while everyone is, fighting over NVIDIA shares, there are 8 stocks that are quietly cornering the supply of exactly what AI infrastructure needs most. And so, if you guys here for the first time, my name is Zach. This is Stocks with Zach. And today I'm going to walk through and give you guys a full breakdown on all 8 of these companies ranked by conviction with the data to back up every single one. So let's get into it, man. We got to talk about the shortage thesis a little bit here, the 3 big bottlenecks that we have right now. And, it's copper, it's transformers, and it's power. Because before we get into the actual stocks themselves, you need to understand why this trade even exists, right? It's good to understand exactly why we're here because the story isn't about AI growing. It's not just about that. That's been true for probably 2, 3 years now. The story really is that AI is growing so fast that the physical world literally can't keep up. And there are 3 specific bottlenecks. Number 1 is copper. Every hyperscale AI data center, the kind that Amazon and Microsoft are building everywhere, they use between 27,000 and 50,000 tons of copper just for that one facility. So for wiring, for cooling, for power distribution, Wood Mackenzie forecasted a 304,000 ton copper deficit in 2025 with a wider gap expected this year. And by 2035, S&P Global projects a 6 million ton shortfall. I mean, that is insane. 6 million ton shortfall. They called it a systemic risk to global industries and technological advancements. So then you've got the transformers issue. You cannot connect a data center to the electrical grid without power transformers. There's no work around this right now. And, there are only 3 publicly traded companies, 3 in the world manufacturing them at scale. So Microsoft CEO said it directly, quote, "The biggest problem we face right now is not a shortage of compute, but a shortage of power." Sam Altman at OpenAI said, "If there are no major breakthroughs in energy technology, AI will not reach its next stage." And Jensen Huang of NVIDIA said low energy cost and looser regulations will help China defeat the United States in the AI race. 3 CEOs independently saying the same damn thing. The U.S. grid interconnection queue has ballooned to over 2,100 gigawatts of pending projects. That is more of the entire existing grid capacity right now. And in some cases, companies are waiting 7 years just to get connected. So that's the setup. The money's committed. The demand is real, but the physical layer simply can't keep up right now. And I want to talk about exactly who gets paid when that happens, because there's a way for us as investors to really, benefit here still. And so, one company that I've been invested in a very long time is benefiting greatly from this. And the other I've been invested for a little while also doing extremely well. But one big company, let's take a look. We'll go to the 1 month on this chart before I pull it up for you so you guys can just see just how crazy this performance has been. It has been wild to watch. So the first company we're looking at is GE Vernova, ticker GEV. 2 years old as a public company. It's up 775% since it's spun off from General Electric. Actually up more than that, almost 1,000% now. It's almost basically done, a 10x. GE Vernova has $150 billion ordered within their backlogs. 150. That's not revenue they expect. That's revenue they've already contracted. They are effectively sold out for years right now, like upwards to 2 years. And the reason GE Vernova is tier one, with this investment thesis, you cannot build an AI data center without power transformers. And GE Vernova is one of 3 companies in the world that makes them at scale. There's no substitute. You can switch chip suppliers. You can change your cooling vendor. You cannot build a facility that connects to the electrical grid without a transformer, period. And, people are raising their price targets already up over $1,300. That's another, 30 to 35%, give or take from here. So obviously, GEV trades at about 56 times earnings. It's not cheap. So if you're buying this here, just know that, you got to believe that the backing keeps growing and margins keep expanding, which personally, I think that will happen. I've been in this stock though for 100, since $150. So this has been a massive winner already for me. The other big player here is Micron. And so, Goldman Sachs says Micron alone accounts for 51% of all S&P 500 EPS revisions this year. One company, 51% of revisions for the entire index. NVIDIA's AI chips, they're basically useless without the type of memory that Micron provides called HBM, high bandwidth memory. It stacks directly on top of processor and feeds it data at speeds that regular DRAM can't match. So Micron, I think, will continue to be a massive, massive winner. We're getting targets now from some analysts out there upwards to $1,000. Some up, towards 700, 680, 700. So, I mean, listen, I think Micron's going to continue to win here in the, midterm. So some other picks that I like, I'll kind of go over these ones a little bit quicker. Constellation Energy, CEG. Okay. And then also VST. You've got VST, Vistra. And both of these companies are nuclear power producers. So you got VST and CEG. Both have multi-year contracts with the hyperscalers, but they're built a little differently. The core thesis is the same. AI data centers need 24/7 baseload power all the time. Constellation's the largest pure play nuclear operator in the world. So then you got Vistra as kind of the more value play in the nuclear trade. Forward PE right now, only 16 times earnings. So Vistra is one that I like. Return on equity of 81%, 65% projected EPS growth this year. So that would be one, market cap 53 billion. I think this could really, really perform extremely well still. Whereas, CEG, they're a big player. A little bit more than double the size by market cap, the company already, right? And still 20% annual EPS growth from 2026 through 2029 there. Now we go into more of the sleeper territory, and that's Eton, which I'm getting exposure through with the AIPO ETF through this one. So Eton, ticker ETN, this one kind of flies under the radar a little bit. But 3 global companies dominate transformer manufacturing: GE Vernova, Eton, and then Siemens Energy. So is it forget their ticker on Siemens Energy. There it is. And their stock's doing extremely well too. Crazy. So, I mean, those are your big players there. But Eton, I think ETN is probably the one that I'm definitely looking at closer than any of the other ones there. Um, they make a lot of the circuit breakers and transformers. They're all sold out, basically, or near sold out. Unlike GEV, which trades already at 56 times, EPS. Um, Eton is much more, reasonably valued right now. $165 billion market cap right now. And then obviously we've mentioned this one before too, Vertiv, VRT. Vertiv is another one, VRT. So guys, make sure you guys are catching all of these because we're going through a lot of different tickers here, right? And then some other things that are more tied, to this whole build out. If you guys want a copper play that I find really interesting, as we mentioned at the top, how important that is. Freeport McMoran, um, ticker FCX. This is the longest term, probably most structural play on the whole list. Like, this is a very long term play. It's the world's largest publicly traded copper producer. And so, as we explained at the top, when it comes to copper, this is the physical backbone of every AI data center out there. So, 27 to 50,000 tons per facility. There's definitely some near term, risk here for sure. There's been some delays with production. I think it was out of Indonesia, one of their big plants there. But I think, generally speaking, I mean, this is a great longer term setup for sure on this play. So again, some of the tickers that we mentioned: GEV, GE Vernova. We've got MU, that's Micron. We've got Constellation, CEG. We've got VST, Vistra. We've got ETN, which I think is a really interesting play right now. Then you've got VRT. Then, we didn't really mention these too much. We've talked about these a lot in, past videos. SanDisk has already just went crazy. SNDK. Yeah, SNDK. And then we just mentioned FCX, which is the copper play. So, if you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you guys. This is the kind of analysis that takes real time to kind of put together for you. And I'm glad you guys are here for it because, these are 8 stocks. And I think there's going to be a lot more here in the upcoming weeks and months that we find in 3 different buckets of this AI build out, whether it's power and grid or memory and storage, cooling inside the data center, or raw materials. Like, all of this is super important to the build out. And all of it is tied in some form or fashion to the same macro, outlook here with the $725 billion in AI capex. And, we've got a physical supply chain that simply can't keep up right now. And the companies that hold the scarce assets, inputs, that everyone needs, these companies are in my opinion, going to win. So, which of these 8 companies do you guys already have exposure to? I'm interested to see that in the comments. Drop it down there. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys are. This is the kind of videos we put out every single week. We're trying to put one out almost every single day. We're doing that right now. And yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Hit the like button. Make sure you guys do subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one.